Hey guys, Moneyman300 back for some more Forza 6 videos and another edition of This Week in the Forza Community. February 1st, I believe it's going up, should be going up on the 1st. You should have this. Hopefully for some of you in the overseas, it might be a little bit later for you when this gets up. But anyway, we got a lot to cover in this one. Quite a bit going on in Forza and in the racing community in general. So let's get it started. First off, for those that have VIP, this is the latest VIP gift car for February. The Lancer Evo 8 MR with a cool Father Time paint job. Just a stock car, nothing tuned up on it, but it's always good to have an Evo 8 solid car in the game. I haven't tuned one of these yet, so maybe this will be the one that I get tuned up. So that's the VIP gift card, which is first. Oh, I think I did that last week too. I'm always hitting that B button. So some other things. We're gonna get to the Porsche thing here in just a little bit. Got a little information on that. Going to talk through leagues here as soon as I wait for this to load again. We're going to get in there and talk through leagues, other car packs, couple of kind of hidden cars. We'll check in on the forum community, and we're going to hop over and check in on Reddit. And then we'll talk a little bit about the latest IMSA or IMSA races that happened over the weekend at Daytona. So first off, let's get over to our leagues and talk about, there are two new leagues this week. So the Can-Am League ended and has been replaced, and along with the B-Class Japanese Street Kings, and now has been, I think it was B-Class, pretty sure it was, now has been replaced with some new ones. So you got your Ghost League. I don't normally race in the Ghost League, but there are, what do we got? Let me take a look here. Ghost League, just a Class C all-wheel drive. Might be kind of fun. I generally don't race in that one, but looks cool. Next one up, and this is not available yet for me, but anyways, it is the Early Supercar League, and it is Class S, and the division must be Birth of the Supercar. I'll hop on over and we'll take a look at the different cars and give you my opinion on some cars I think are probably going to be the best in this one, and it's S-Class. Yeah, I'm going to try this out, but I have a feeling, given the cars and the class, that this might be kind of a mess and a bit of a crash-up derby, but we'll see. Next up, we've got a Sim League, which is cool. They're bringing it back. I think they did this at least one other time. This is B-Class and simulation damage with longer races. I believe the races are doubled in length. So, and it looks like all class cars are available. I don't know if there are any specific cars that are just banned in general from multiplayer. I'll have to double check on that. But we do have the Sim League. I'm definitely going to spend some time in that, and we'll just talk about the cars in that one. Well, I'll come back and look at that. Anyway, first off, let's look at the cars for the Birth of the Modern Supercar, and to do that, let's get over into our free play, and let's hit game options, and let's get off of Class C and go to Birth of the Modern Supercar. Say OK. We'll select a car, and we'll hit the buy a car and go over. Oh, go over one. All right, so first up we got the 92 Bugatti EB110 Super Sport. Not bad, 8190 acceleration, really good acceleration because it's all-wheel drive. So this is one that's going to get you out quick. Little low on the handling at 5.6. You might be able to make a speed car out of it with that all-wheel drive. Get out front and hopefully stay out front. It's a little heavy at 3100s, but I'd put this car in the middle somewhere. And it gets a little bit of a nod because of the all-wheel drive. I may or may not tune that one, but I think it'll be viable. Next one, we got three different Ferraris that are the Enzo Ferrari. Fast and decent acceleration, pretty high up in the class, decent handling. Maybe not. It might be okay. I think you're probably better off going with an F50 or an F40, whatever is for your choice. You're going to get a little more speed and handling out of the a little more speed, a little less handling out of the F40 than the F50. Either one of those are probably going to be pretty viable. Next up, we got the Jaguar XJ220, 8.1 and 8.6 with 5.5 handling. pretty low, so you might be able to do something with it, but it is pretty heavy. I don't know how good that car will end up being. Then we have the 97 Lamborghini Diablo SV 7.9 and 8.4 with 5.2 in the handling, a little bit lower, but this also starts at A650, so you might be able to do a little something with this without getting in and seeing all the build and the parts that are available in this. It's hard to say how competitive this will be. Next up, Maserati, 2004 Maserati MC12. This was a pretty good car in Forza 5 and did real well. So I'm kind of assuming it will, especially if you take and just grip tune this. The speed's a little low at 7.5, so you're not going to blow anybody away with the speed. You're going to need a grip tune on this one. 3100, it's a little heavy, so it might be kind of nice if you could get the weight out of it. Maintain your handling, get a bunch of downforce, and this could be a pretty good car for grip. Next up, this is the car I believe is going to be the best car, and that's this 97 McLaren F1 GT, which I'm pretty sure is a DLC car. 8.2 speed, 8.9 acceleration, and 6.1 out of the box. It is pretty high up there, but also 2,400 pounds. This thing should be zippy, quick, 618 horsepower. I mean, this looks like it's going to be a tough car to beat. It looks like it's going to have good top end, good handling, good acceleration, just all around very good. Put some finishing touches on it to get it up full up to S800, and I think this is going to be a beast this week. Definitely need to tune this one. Next up, the 93 McLaren F1. I also think this one is going to play well, especially in the speed category. If you look at that starting speed, 9.1. So if you can get that speed up a little bit more, maintain your handling, this thing is going to do well on longer tracks. This could be your speed car. So right off the bat, you got kind of an all-arounder here. Maybe you could go a couple different directions with this, all around to grip, and then you got a speed here. So those two definitely can play this week. I'm almost positive of it. Next up, the 1998 Mercedes-Benz AMG CLK GTR. This one wins cool car for me. I mean, just looking at that thing, looks like just a standard Mercedes if you just chop the front of that off, and then it gets all crazy supercarish from the mid to back with all those crazy lines and the scoop on the roof. But anyway, 7.4, 8.7, 6.1. This, you're going to have to make this a grip car. I don't think you can get it fast enough to be in the speed range. 3,100 pounds, a little heavy, and it starts pretty high. I don't believe this will be great this week, but I could be wrong. 1998 Nissan R390. Big acceleration, good handling, and good speed. Really light. This is the lightest of the cars. This is going to make an excellent grip option. Sitting in there at 800 is the top, though, right? It's at the top of the class already. This might be a problem. So depending on what your aero options are that you can do with this, it'll be interesting. Depends on what's already on the car. I'd have to go look, because if you can't put some adjustable parts on there, if they're not already all on there, then that being at the top of S could end up being a real problem for that car. Otherwise, being that light, it could be really competitive, but we're going to have to check to see if that's even buildable in S-Class. Be unfortunate if it's not, but it's possible. And the last one we have is the Celine S7. This is the other really... I hit a button. Hang on. I bumped one of the under buttons on the Elite controller. Back off. Get me back in there. Okay, so with that, starting off that 8.5 speed and good acceleration, pretty good handling, I think this is another great speed car option. Longer tracks with those long straightaways options. So if I had to guess what cars I would build for this, probably the Celine, maybe the Nissan. Just have to look to see what that is. And the two McLarens and the Maserati. I would pick from those four. So definitely this one. And then maybe this Maserati for a grip. And I don't know if I'd build the Bugatti or any of the Ferraris. Excuse me. I've used those Ferraris a lot in the past. It'd be nice to use some different things. So, but yeah, this viable grip here. Grip all around. Probably pretty good at everything. A speed car, and then another speed car in the Celine. So that's where I would go with those, and that's kind of my analysis on that. I will have at least a tune or two up for those class of cars. Next up, let's take a quick look at B-Class. So it's wide open B-Class in the Sim League. So the best place to go to find out cars that are good is Rivals. So if we take a quick look, I'm just going to give you kind of three quick options here. So the Mercedes 190E on the Alps tracks is dominant. I'm not a big fan of that car, so I would probably go to the Honda S2000. And the S2000 that I put up last week, perfectly viable build for this. something that'll work well. I kind of like the looks of that Supra. I thought of doing a Supra or even a Toyota GT86 or a BRZ. I think all of those could be very good momentum type cars that you could take Prague, Alps, and there's other momentum tracks that are escaping my mind right now. But anyway, there's plenty of them out there. For a longer track car like a Bathurst, there are a ton of options. You can look through the leaderboard and see. I think it's cool. It's all over the board, right? You could go pick one, download a tune out of one of these. Probably not that one, since that's kind of a car that's not available. Like the Mustang, another Supra there. So there's a ton of options, and you'll see that on just about every speed track. Now, depending on the tracks that are out there, I don't know if Daytona and those other ones are there or not. But you may want a oval car. I don't think it's out there. The short track is pretty much dominated by the Beetle or the 05 Elise in B class, and then you'll see the 99 Elise. But there are other cars like the CRX and other ones like that out there, as well as the 03 Celica that I built last week is another viable short track car option. You see right there, so Toyota Celica is right up at the top on Cat Nat. Shorter Catalunya, you're gonna the Elise and the Beetle are gonna be there. So shorter the track, the better the Elise. 05 seems to be along with the Beetle. Let me look at that's Coda East. That's probably going to be a little bit more of a speed track, so you'll see those. And then let's take a look at Road America, because that's a nice tweener. To give you an idea of tweener track. Sebring, Road America. I like Road America full. There we go. And there you go. So the Lotus Cortina, that's another one that's going to be good on the speed tracks. I don't like the looks of that car, so I probably won't build it. But you can see here a good mixture of the speed type cars, and I think you're going to want faster cars usually, so the faster the better. Some of these big muscle cars will be nice. Because damage is on, I think they're going to get pushed around less. That Elise and the Beetle could get crushed in multiplayer, so you got to be careful of that, understanding that sim damage is on. So that is our sim leagues. The VIP car, let me look over my list here and see if there's anything we need to do on the Xbox. Just a reminder, the Alpine Star, you guys probably know this, I already did a video on it, I'll link it. The Alpine Stars pack also came out this week, so it's been a pretty busy week in the Forza community. So with that being said, let's hop on over to the PC and check out the forums and a couple of other things. All right, so here we are over on the PC, and let's talk Forza 6 and Porsche. So we heard way back when, like in June or whatever, that Porsche would be making a return to the Forza Motorsports, and it actually made a return in Forza Horizon 2, so it did make a return to the series, but to the Forza Motorsport series, and specifically in Forza 6. And there has been some information that, leaked is probably the right term to use. Somebody found this on Amazon, and I'm going to credit my man Spider X20 from the Forza Motorsport forums. He posted this, and it was an ad or a listing on Amazon for the Forza Motorsport 6 Porsche expansion digital code. I think it's since been taken down, but it looks really credible, and I'll talk a couple of reasons why I think it is. Number one, we talked about, I don't know if I mentioned this before, or maybe it was a conversation that I had in the comment section of one of my videos, but typical games release there's really three time frames. The March-ish time frame, spring, a kind of an early summer time frame, and then the big one in November. So generally look for anything big to release on those times. So if I'm Forza Motorsport, I release my game in the fall, November-ish time frame. The next big release time is March. I would have predicted either March or June to have something like a Porsche expansion pack, like you see here, or they could have waited all the way till November. It looks like right here, the date. Release date, March 1st, so that makes sense. The other reason that makes sense is that is a Tuesday. Almost all releases happen on a Tuesday, so those two things match up pretty well. It does say $20, and it does use the word expansion. So generally that means that car pass holders, VIP, all that thing, are not entitled to this without paying the money for it. So that's my take on that. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that you get the DLC packs, but not an expansion. So expansions are different than DLC typically in most games. I'm going to assume that's the same here. But anyway, Porsche coming, super excited. We knew it was coming. We just didn't know when. There's a lot of speculation. I think March 1st sounds very credible. If that is the case, that means they are going to have to release some information very quickly on this to start to advertise it. So if that really is a real date, they're going to have to get that out there. You can see that's the digital code. And let's look in here. They talk about, 20 cars, 20 Porsche cars in this. So that's big. They're too big for a DLC. You usually don't see DLC. Also, along with that, a new track. So Virginia International Raceway. You're going to have Porsche specific events, leagues, hoppers, rivals events. You're going to be looking at cars like the 1957 356A and, of course, the number 19, the 919 hybrid. Hopefully you get a 918 in there, some 911s, all kinds of Porsche cars that they could put in there. Maybe even old 944 or 928, something like that from back in the 80s would be kind of cool. So anyway, a lot of stuff here. Going to be interesting how they do this. We'll put in a new track and new cars, and how they, if you're even going to be, hopefully you can intermingle that into the other, leaderboards and all that different stuff. So I swear, I think every time I make this video, my phone rings. It hits, and I never remember to put it on silent. So take that out of my pocket, set that over there, and turn it off for a second. Anyway, so that is the Porsche stuff. Really exciting and really interesting. Going to be interesting to see how the community reacts to it being an expansion versus DLC, and if people are going to go pay the $20 to get it. I'm sure I will. I love Porsche. I've been waiting for Porsche to get in there. I'll take 20 cars for $20 and a track. That to me that deal's fine. That may not be the case for everybody. So that covers the Porsche. Another couple things to point out in the forum. There's been another hidden car kind of found in the game. If you've followed along in the forums before, there's been a couple of other hidden cars that have popped up from time to time, and people find them in the menus. They find them through usually saving a paint, or I think this one was saving a photograph, and they were able to select a car that was the 1977 Aston Martin V8 Vantage, which isn't in the game. There was also a Ford GT, a Nutrigrain Ford GT that was found at some point, and the other one was a 66 Silvia, which actually popped up for a short period of time to be able to buy, and then disappeared, and then some people lost the car. So if you want to go follow along here, people are sleuthing this thing out. Got a couple pages, you can see it right there. Got a couple of pages of this stuff going to people trying to figure out what it is. Is it like the Ferrari 312 is going to be a future car that they're going to give out in a league event or some other event, or is it just something else? So hop out there, check that out. That's kind of the thread that I highlighted there. Something else I wanted to call attention to that I haven't yet is the Forza 6 Reddit, or Forza Reddit. So if you pop over to Forza, it's our Forza. So if you're familiar with Reddit, /r/Forza is the Reddit page for Forza, and it's fairly active. There are people out there. I've posted some videos out there in the past. I check on it occasionally to see what's going on, or more than occasionally, a couple times a week, to try to keep up with things that are happening out there. And this is where I'm going to highlight kind of my conversation or forum thread of the week is going to be on Reddit this week. And I'm going to read this and just let you guys respond. I think it would be cool. So this is from, who's this from here? Sean Chowder. All right, Sean, I'm gonna give you some pub out there. We'll see what people think of this, because I think it would be cool if they add 1 or 2 cheaper road cars in each DLC, like a Cavalier and a Sunfire or a Mazda Protege. That might be okay, except the title said, "Please more cheap cars like Aztec in the future." I'm going to give you my take on that, and you guys can hop on out here and join the discussion if you want. I don't want an Aztec in the game. I don't see the point. Now, the Sunfire, maybe some cool older cars, something that looks decent, but I really don't want to see Pontiac Aztecs and name any other hideously ugly car driving around the track any more than I wanted to see cargo vans and stuff like that driving around the track. So you guys know how I feel about that. I like race cars on a racetrack. If it's some older classic and they're lower class cheap cars, that's fine. Like that might be okay. But a lot of people, I was surprised there's a few people agreeing. few people disagreeing, but that's the thread of the week that I wanted to highlight out there. Let me look and see. Look and see what else we got to look at out here. Also another car pack that is potentially coming out in April is the rumor, is the Top Gear car pack. So that's another one that's coming. I don't know if that's part of Car Pass or if that's a free one or if it's separate or what it is, but rumors are the Top Gear car pack is coming. I did not catch any or find any details on what cars or if there's any tracks or anything like that are in that pack. So I want to make sure that I mention that, and there'll be more to come on that, obviously. And last, we could talk a little bit. Oh, one other thing, second to last, is the I failed to mention this last week, and somebody put it on in my comments on last week's video. There is E-Class hoppers E-Class has been added to the hoppers out there. So if you like to race the lower classes, they did add E-Class. I have not raced or built any cars for that yet, but if you like those classic cars, I encourage you to go out there, check it out. It is out there and available now. Let's move on to this weekend's racing. And this weekend, and I mentioned it last week, at some point last week I mentioned this. I don't remember when, and if it was in a video or if it was in my week of Forza, but the 24 Hours of Daytona IMSA Series race was out there, multi-classes. Oh, you know what I did? I talked about how to find the different classes of that. And so they did have a race out there. They haven't really posted the official race results out here. They do have the headlines for who won in each division. So in the prototype, we had the Tequila Patron video. What was he driving? I believe it's the Honda. Yep. Somewhere in here it says that. But anyway, the Honda won the prototype division, and I won't go over all the drivers' names. You guys come out here and click that. In the this was the... Yeah, it's hard to even tell. Oh, this is Prototype Challenge out there, and it was Oreca FLM09 is what they were driving. The Corvettes dominated in the, which was some pretty good racing out there in the GTLM division. So you had 1-2 for both of the Corvettes, and then in the GTD, I believe we had a Lamborghini. Yep, the Huracan GT3 car. And that was actually, this was the one that was a crazy race with the Audi and the Huracan at the end of it. It was really tight racing and really cool. I unfortunately did not, other than following it on Twitter, I was really busy this weekend with kids' sports, son's basketball tournament and basketball games. My daughter had a basketball game, so I spent my whole weekend in the gym watching basketball and did not get an opportunity to check any of this out other than on Twitter and catching some race highlights. But that's all that went down. Those were each of the series there. I think that the Continentals ran that week also, and yep, Daytona 350, the Shelby 350 in a debut won in the Continental series. So I don't know if there's probably multiple classes of Continental. I'm not going to go through all those, but just wanted to give a quick highlight out there. I don't know when the next event is, but we'll continue to highlight things that happen in the overall circuit, mostly circuit racing community. I don't know if I'll get big into like NASCAR. Maybe we'll talk a little IndyCar when the time is right. So anyway, that's all I got for today. Actually, a pretty packed day on this one. Had a lot going on this week in Forza. Hopefully every week we can have a lot of content and things like that. But I'm going to end it with that. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Later.